I was a medical student in my third year when I first saw her. She came to our college for an internship, and at that moment I was at the peak of my academic success. The best in my class, a regular participant in all cultural and entertainment events on campus, and naturally, attracted a lot of attention from girls. I enjoyed it. I dated girls as easily as I changed shirts, and although I witnessed a lot of tears during breakups, overall I was a heartthrob on campus. So in my world, I had no problems with a female audience. Then one day, while strolling into the principal's office, I spotted her. She was petite, dark-skinned, with captivating eyes and a radiant smile that knocked me off my feet. It was as if she had this magnetic pull. She noticed me too, but I could tell she thought I was out of her league. To hell with those assumptions. I decided to dig deeper, asking around through her friends and the secretary she was working with during her internship. Before long, I mustered the courage to invite her out for a walk, and she eagerly accepted. Honestly, we had a blast, and soon enough, whispers began circulating around campus that Stella, that's the name I'll use, had transformed me completely. I became more humble, treated women with more respect, and the notorious womanizer in me was fading away. On March 8, I nervously asked her to officially be my girlfriend. Everything was going splendidly. We were absolutely euphoric, with daily meetups, cafe trips, and hanging out together. 2 months later, when she moved out of the dorms to stay with a friend, our physical relationship blossomed. She turned out to be a virgin, and I felt so honored to be her first. Sure, the initial experiences were a bit awkward, like they often are, but soon enough, they'd morphed into something truly incredible. She was always eager for intimacy. Sometimes we would connect 2, 3, even 4 times a day, and I took immense pride in satisfying her every time. She experienced bliss after every encounter, and I was thrilled that I could bring her that joy. Our imaginations ran wild in that department. We took care of each other. I took care of her, and she took care of me. I started staying at her place at night, where we cooked, cleaned, and went to the cinema together in the evenings. Life was wonderful, and her sister and mother were thrilled that she had found a reliable, loving fiancé. And to be honest, I felt the same way. This blissful period lasted about 8 months, and I decided to propose to her. She reacted coldly at first, saying that she would have to finish her studies first. But a couple of days later, I heard from her the cherished yes, and we signed quickly and without guests. In a couple of months, one evening when I went to her house, her friend called me aside. She mentioned that she had seen Stella in some guy's car the day before. I brushed it off at first, but decided to ask Stella about it. She calmed me down by telling me not to worry, saying that it was just her cousin. She did have a cousin with a car, but I could see that she was a little hurt that I doubted her loyalty, so I quickly apologized. But then, a little later, the roommate intervened and said that after I left, a guy came up to her, and Stella went outside to talk to him for a while. She didn't know what they were discussing. Again, I didn't think much of it because I knew she had a brother. But a week later, guys from my neighborhood started teasing me, saying things like, "What's wrong with you? Your girlfriend goes out with guys." I felt a little awkward and explained that it was just her brother, but they insisted that there were at least 3 other guys in that car. I was head over heels in love with her, completely blinded by this affection, so I brushed off the rumors until I saw something with my own eyes. It was probably a mistake to bring this up with Stella from time to time. She was upset that I was spreading such gossip. Sometimes she laughed it off, and sometimes she just kept quiet. The rumors that she was hanging out with guys while I was in class were getting louder, and I felt a little uneasy. I began to notice some odd behaviors from her. When we strolled together, she frequently spat, seemed jittery, and often mentioned her menstrual cycle and PMS. But as a med student, I wasn't easily fooled. On top of that, Stella occasionally smelled of smoke. When I confronted her about it, she'd blame it on places where people smoked, like the bus or restrooms. Of course, her roommate was a smoker too. One day, during a volleyball tournament, she came to cheer me on. Right away, I caught a whiff of alcohol mixed with what seemed like valerian. It's a common belief that valerian can mask the smell of alcohol, so I decided to dig a little deeper. After the match, I learned that she had been sitting in the car with her brother and some friends who were all smoking. She claimed she felt nauseous, and her brother gave her some valerian from a first aid kit. I tried to present my case, but she dismissed it completely. Soon after, two guys started hanging out in her friend's apartment, Liam and Ethan, whom her roommate had just met. They were friendly, sociable, and didn't hesitate to spend money. I got along with them easily, and we became a friendly company. Liam was the hostess's unofficial boyfriend, and Ethan was just his buddy. They both knew that Stella was my wife, and they were genuinely happy for us. But then, out of the blue, some strangers started telling me that Stella was sleeping with one of these guys. I couldn't understand it, especially since they were aware of our relationship. During one of the conversations, Ethan insisted that these rumors were not groundless and I should take them seriously. A few days later, after a wonderful evening with Stella, I walked her home and put her to bed. Just 3 days later, one of my friends mentioned that he saw Stella at the entrance with some guys. To my horror, it turned out that this happened after I broke up with her. My patience was running out, and I decided to talk to Stella frankly, which led to a serious argument. In the heat of the quarrel, she ran away to her cousin, where my friend Reef lived. He rented a room from his brother, who had several students from our medical college living there, although they were a year younger. Stella's best friend informed me that they slept together that night, and Reef had long had feelings for her. But I refused to believe it. 4 days later, Stella and I reconciled. Even the youngest of my friends felt that she was being dishonest, and I was amazed by their words. My mother and sister were also adamant that Stella was innocent. I decided to trust my wife. One lovely summer evening, my phone rang persistently. I picked it up, and this was the conversation that ensued. "Hey, it's Liam. Are you asleep?" "Hello, Liam. Yeah, I'm sleeping. We're at the sauna. Come join us. It's 4:15 a.m. "What sauna?" "Simon, what are you doing?" "Your friends are calling you. Don't you want to come?" "I'm sleeping, and I don't have any cash." "Money's no issue. We covered it for you. Plus, we've got plenty of beer. Trust me, you'll love the surprise. Just come." "Okay, I'll be there in 15 minutes. So I went. Yeah, my friends had covered my expenses. The sauna was fantastic. We had fun and had a great time. But then I remembered the surprise they were talking about. The guys invited the girls, and I was about to refuse, insisting that it was not for me, since I have a girlfriend and I am not interested in cheating. They insisted that I not do it. You will understand why. When the girls came, I was stunned to find my Stella among them. We looked at each other in silence. I thanked the guys for the surprise and went home. Naturally, Stella started making excuses, crying, and begging me not to leave her. Her pleas turned into desperate apologies. She claimed that she was a fool who just wanted to have some fun. But I didn't care. I left her, saying firmly, "Don't ever call me again. I will file for divorce myself." I was really shocked by this breakup, especially in this way. The divorce passed quickly, and the following year I enrolled in the first year of the medical academy. It was a new start, a new city, new friends, new activities, and a new phone number. I even found a new love, Everly. I almost forgot about Stella. Then, one day, I had to urgently return to my hometown for 3 days to settle some issues. Somehow Stella found out about my return and got hold of my phone number. She wanted to meet. I thought that if I could forgive and forget, then maybe she could, so I agreed to meet with her. Our conversation was light and relaxed, mostly about our lives. I talked about the academy, and she shared fragments from her life. At the end of our meetup, Stella opened up. "I've been thinking about you nonstop. I was such an idiot for how I acted. I'm alone now, and I really crave love and support. Could we maybe give it another shot? I had anticipated this plea and had my response ready. No way, never. Stella broke down in tears, calling me cruel for not giving her a second chance. I told her about Everly and how I would never betray her trust. According to Dahl's dictionary, being monogamous means never straying. To me, betrayal is like siding with the enemy, a complete insult to my feelings and self-respect. But why did Stella choose that path when we seemed so happy together? What did I do wrong? My friends liked me, her family did too. Her sister, brother, and mother all seemed to approve. Maybe she was just young when we met. She was only 17. I was 20. Or was she simply seeking more excitement after discovering the joys of intimacy? I'm not sure. Now she has a young child and got married, though I don't know why that union ended. As for me, I've been deeply in love with Everly for 6 years now, and we're planning to get married. When I started dating her, I shared the story about Stella. Everly listened, gave her perspective, and assured me she would never cheat unless I started being rude, unkind, or neglectful. Ever since Stella's betrayal, I've developed a kind of phobia around infidelity. Watching films or hearing stories about cheating sends my heart racing, and I even feel a bit nauseous. I react very strongly to any mention of infidelity, especially in movies where actors portray it so convincingly. I'm curious why I feel this way. I'm terrified, especially since cheating is all too common. In about 90% of marriages, at least one spouse has strayed. I can't go through something like that again. If Everly were to cheat, I fear I would become a misogynist, viewing women merely as objects for pleasure.